BPod Studios.
Twitch feed of this is going to be used all around the internet.
Get up.
The cat is finally out of the bag.
Get up.
We're back. Toucher and Hardy.
Get up.
98.5 The Sports Zone.
Is that a promo?
It was what they call the donut of the promo. Yes, the in and the out was not.
Well,
Going real NPR over here.
I mean,
Nice.
Jesus Christ, that's a.
Usually at the end it says Felger.
Or usually it's not an entire interview as a promo. I mean, we're playing a Felger and Maz, not you guys, but we're replaying a Felger and Maz interview ostensibly. All right, if I used that word correctly, I probably did not. All right, Chris
This
has
whole
a
place
question.
sucks.
Felger has a Lombardi on. Lombardi is Mike Lombardi is a professional ball washer. He's a failure at every job he's had. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I was listening to that interview literally before I got in the car on the podcast, and I'm really glad you're talking about it. I wouldn't even say ball washer. That was so embarrassing. All I could think of was that Lombardi's friendship with Belichick is just Belichick pulling out the 6 Super Bowl rings and going, "Kiss this, you sweet bitch."
Oh, there you go.
There you have it.
Like this.
You sweet bitch. All right. Here we go. This is Michael Felger and the Felger and Maz show. They're out at the Super Bowl. They're talking to Michael Lombardi. Things have gotten a little bit. Lombardi obviously is defending Belichick. They knew that was going to happen. At this point, I still would have been conducting the interview. I'm just giving you my perspective.
Why does no one want him? Oh, I don't think that's the case. You see, you know, it's amazing. You can draw a straight line.
How can you say that's a bad narrative when he has no job, Mike? He has no job.
Draw a straight line with the most ridiculous thing. I admire what you do.
How is it ridiculous to say he doesn't have a job?
Well, because
no one hired him. That's just a fact.
There's opportunities that are out there. Sean Payton did a good job after his first year leaving the league. Okay, so there's always a time period, you know. Like, look, it's got to be the right situation for him, too. Was Tennessee going to be the right situation with Rand Carthon as the president of the team? I mean, like, you just jump to conclusions. Like, I just think, to me, and I know you got to do it, Michael. I know you have to do it, and I appreciate you having me. Scoreboard, my ass. Scoreboard. You know, scoreboard, when he was winning, you wouldn't give him credit. It was somebody else. It's like, well, that's true. Some point, you have to be, your knowledge of the sport is so much about the scoreboard. You should read Walsh's book, The Score Will Take Care of Itself. Like, to me,
the pace that I'm talking, I'm an insufferable a-hole. I'm talking in this tone. I'm a lazy prick. I'm washing this guy's balls. I mean, you think that this isn't Stuttering John talking to Ted Williams like at a baseball? I mean, this isn't like a subterfuge. This isn't an attack dog-style paparazzi bomb. I mean, this is talking about football with a guy who I guess is somewhat tangelically involved in football.
I enjoy the debate, like, because to me, what makes championship teams, what wins titles, what won those 6 Super Bowls, was the fact of the things that he brought together. And, you know, if you don't want to acknowledge it, look, the San Antonio Spurs haven't done anything. They acknowledge Popovich for what he did. Now, if you were down in San Antonio doing talk radio down there, I'm sure you would be killing Popovich. I'm sure you would say, look at the scoreboard, you know, and they think Popovich is a great coach. So, to me, you know, you've got to do your gig, but you're doing it with 1/3 of the knowledge that it takes to put together a great team.
And you would know that why?
Yeah, exactly.
What are the other? What third do I have?
What
are the
role
2/3
did you play in all of that? Exactly?
What 2/3 are missing? What?
And also, I have 2/3 of the ability to host a radio show than you do. Like, I have 2/3 the ability of a broadcaster than you do. Like, Felger's way more successful than Mike Lombardi. See, there has to be a hierarchy. I'm telling you, you cannot let a big slob like Lombardi talk to you like that. I still would hang in there, though.
But he'd still have him.
Oh, he'd be getting to things would be boiling at this point. My heart, I can tell you how I'd be feeling. My adrenaline would be pumping. My heart would be pumping, and I'd want to hit him. This is like where we're at. And when I think I would hit him, actually, is when I would pull the plug on the thing.
It's been reported or speculated that Bill sort of intentionally hung him out to dry to prove a point to him or to the owner or to whoever, and it was just that.
Talking about Mac Jones.
This is about Mac Jones. Actually, you know what? If you want to skip and go to about relationships on the team, I think this one is one of my favorites.
All right, here we go.
Do you think Bill had a good? Do you think Bill? Do you think Bill had a good functional relationship with Mac Jones?
I don't know. I've never seen the two of them interact.
So now you don't know? Wait a minute. I thought you were inside the walls, and I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, you don't.
Do you think Bill had a good functional relationship with Mac Jones?
I think he's had a good functional relationship with everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Look, I think to me, you don't want to handle the truth.
That's why the guy ended up in Tampa. He's had a good functional relationship with everyone.
Oh,
do you believe that, Mike?
Do you
think he's had a good functional relationship with everybody?
That happened in Tampa? I think there'll be one day that'll come out. I think, to me, some players don't want the truth.
Then why don't you say it? Like, one day it will come out, then you say it now.
Yeah, seriously, what happened with because I think we all have a decent handle on what happened. Bill wanted to move on from Tom. Tom wanted to get away from Bill. And when you're talking about relationship, I think everyone's got a great relationship with Bill. Rob Gronkowski retired from football because he didn't want to play for Bill anymore. How's that relationship with that head coach? And he only went back to playing football when he could play down in Tampa with Brady, where they won another Super Bowl without Bill. So for this blanket statement, he's got great relationships with everybody. Players around the league are very fond of saying, man, that sucked. Yeah, he knows a lot about football, but a relationship? With Bill?
Didn't Danny Amendola just say, was quoted as saying, Bill was our head coach, but we played for Tom? What does that say about player relations exactly?
How about just from the perspective of Lombardi? Well, if you know, tell me. One day it will come out. Then you make it come out. No, and then you know what he would say? Because I would say, well, then tell me. If you know, then tell me. Set the record straight. You go, like, you think I'm going to do it on this show? And I go, goodbye. And that would be the end of it. Okay, that's where it would end. When he said that, I would have gone, well, then you tell me.
So now we've reached that point.
We've reached the point.
Okay.
Because I can, but this is a hypothetical situation because it hasn't happened. But when he says, one day it will come out, I would go, well, then you tell me now, and we'll get it out. And then I would believe he would say, well, I wouldn't do it on this show. And then I would go, then why do I have you on? Good day. You're a prick. I would have called him a prick. I really would have. You know I would have.
Yes.
I'm a big, tough guy.
Yes.
I think, to me,
because he couldn't beat me up. That's why I would have done that.
That's right.
Some players don't want the truth.
Well,
some players don't want to hear the truth. And some players want to go to Dairy Queen after the game and celebrate.
He's had a good functional relationship with everybody. Now, that's fantasy land, Mike.
Look at all the players that
is right there. That is PR shilling.
No,
he's had a good functional relationship with everybody?
Well, look. Players that you tell the truth to, you're not going to have a good relationship with. You're going to ruffle feathers. Look, when we were in Cleveland together, when
I was in high school.
He had a good functional relationship with Bernie Kosar. Let me tell you, that was good. That was a good one.
Because Bernie wouldn't accept the fact that he couldn't throw the ball to me to that guy over there.
Bernie's fault. It's Mac's fault. I got it.
I mean, if you want to know the truth, I'll tell you the truth. If you want to have revisionist history, let's go to the sixth floor. I mean, if you really want to do that, like at the end of the day, Bernie couldn't make a throw. Bernie would come over to the sideline and say, Bill, why are you pulling me? I'm 10 for 11. He threw for 32 yards. Like, at some point, it's not just the coach's fault.
What's the sixth?
Okay, so he mentions it in the sabotaging of Mac, which he thinks is a conspiracy theory, and he says to Felger, I bet you think Leon Oswald was alone atop the book depository. Like Lee Harvey Oswald. He's obsessed with this analogy of anyone who thinks they know what's going on is just a sheep, and you think Lee Harvey Oswald was the lone shooter. He mentions it no less than 4 times in this interview. The first time was in the sabotaging the Mac thing, which is whatever. They went back and forth in that one, too, but he's like, oh, yeah, why don't you say Lee Harvey Oswald, too, if you think that's what's going on. And all Felger is asking about is, like, how's the relationship? Because he kind of did hang Mac out to dry. I believe that he did. He could have pulled him much earlier than he did, but he started him again after the Colts game in Germany, and that feels like he left him out there to dry. And now Lombardi is saying, like, well, yeah, he's got good relationships with everybody, which is ridiculous. That is the most obtuse thing that you could say about Bill Belichick, is that he's had good relationships with all of his players. It's nonsense. It's
Anyone
just,
wanna
you know
get
what
Ted
it is?
Johnson
It's
on
a
the phone?
it's a flat out. Oh, Jesus! Thank you, Wallach. Yeah, get Ted on the phone and talk about the great relationships that Bill Belichick has had with every single one of his players. There are some guys that love him, yes, that kneel at the altar just like Lombardi does.
Yeah.
But talk about being naive and obtuse. Great relationship with all his players. That's just a lie. Now he's just lying.
Murph, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine to disagree with Lombardi, but to say that Felger has more credentials than a guy that was an NFL executive for 6 teams is ridiculous.
He's had more success in his profession than Lombardi had. I'm just talking about dealing with someone man to man. I'm talking about not being a prick. I'm not saying if you're going to be a prick, you better be pretty special or be funny, and that's just my take on it. I don't think Lombardi has had any more. I don't think Lombardi is a more successful human being than Michael Felger is.
As a football executive versus the Felger as a broadcaster.
And now Lombardi's a broadcaster and not a very good one and not a very successful one. So I don't think that he has any business talking down to anyone.
Fine, not talking down. But
all right, thank you. That was my point. All right, we will be back, and I don't mean to talk down to you, Murph, because you were from Southie, and that is like a Ben Affleck commercial.
That's right.
All right, we will continue with this.
Okay.
I can't get enough of Michael Lombardi. He's making me crazy. We will have that. Here are the headlines.
BackstageCountry.com, your online home for all things country music. Award-winning movies often have incredible soundtracks, and many of those have gone on to become country gold. We've picked our top 5 country songs that have been nominated for an Oscar. Text Oscar to 45911 to see if your favorite made the list on BackstageCountry.com. Text Oscar to 45911 and we'll send the link straight to your phone.
Who wrote that is intimately familiar with the show. This hour of Toucher and Hardy is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Felger and Maz are out at the old Super Bowl. Does Maz, when what I listened to and what we've played, Maz has not spoken.
No, he just, from what I saw, he just let Felger go. I mean,
and Maz did jump in on one of these things, but, Maz was having a little bit more of a conversation, and, we like the combativeness, and we like these guys yelling at each other. And Murray had some good stuff, too, but the stuff that we're focusing in on is pretty much Felger and Lombardi yelling at each other.
It's just a mano a mano.
Yes.
And my take on this is I'm trying to figure out when I would have ended the interview, and also that Lombardi has no business being a prick to anyone. It's not like he's better than anyone. And Felger's had more success in broadcasting than Lombardi has. So maybe Lombardi should have shared reverence. I mean, if you come on a show and they ask you about football and you're on there to be a football guest, then you should be able to talk about football without being an insulting prick. And he doesn't take any shots ever at Lombardi. They're all just asking questions about Belichick, and Lombardi gets so defensive.
Well, because it's all this ethereal, philosophical stuff, which is what he's been hired to do as, some kind of an assistant or as a football consultant. And it's all out there in the ether. And this is when they get combative again, because Felger is like, results, scoreboard.
I've been waiting for Belichick's response, because I think he's been getting dumped on really good.
By you.
Of course.
You break up your truck and you just dump on it and you give it no credibility whatsoever.
Mike, I'm sorry.
You sit on the back and
there's a scoreboard in the corner of the stadium, and for you to say it goes beyond the scoreboard, I think is ludicrous.
Well, that's how you value it.
Score, the game, the win. Yes, yeah. I do. I look at the scoreboard. I'm sorry.
The reality of it is some people don't want to handle. They just want to handle what they know. It's a narrative. We have it all the time.
Oh, he's 29-39 since Brady left. They haven't won a playoff game. They stink, Michael, and he was in charge of all of it. Yeah, I'm not making that up.
But he was in charge of all of it. But it was amazing when they won the 6 Super Bowls, somebody else brought the team together. It's amazing. Like, all of a sudden, he got stupid.
No, but you are, because you're not, like, if you're my friend, I'm like, stop defending me, dude. All right, and it continues.
Did he get everything he needed from the ownership level?
Well, I don't know. I wasn't in any of all those meetings.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Were you there or not?
What?
Do
No,
you know everything or not?
You're not in the building. You have to be in the building to know what's going on.
Didn't he just say, Felger, you weren't there?
Right, you're
and
not
by the way,
there.
Felger was friends with Belichick. They, hung out for a few years
Getting
there.
dizzy. Those goalposts keep moving back and forth. Jesus.
Yeah, when it's something negative, he wasn't there. Maybe Lombardi was the secret sauce.
Well, I don't know. I wasn't in any of all those meetings. So I
But you are selective when you want to play. I was in the building and not in the building.
No, but you're asking me about the ownership level. I didn't have a relationship with the ownership level. I never was in a meeting with Jonathan Kraft or Robert. But I do think that the ability when we were winning, I think the ability to win was there. Sure. I don't think there's any question about that. I don't doubt that at all. I've never doubted that. I have never been on record as saying that at all.
I know.
So don't put words in my
I'm
mouth.
not. You're doing a good job of distancing yourself from that
No, I'm not dissing myself. No, you don't know me well enough to say I did. Because if you listen to anything I say, I take accountability.
You're the one that brought it up before. I'm sorry.
I take accountability. I told you about what I thought of Mac Jones, and I was wrong. So I have no problem admitting I'm wrong. If you're in the profession that I'm in.
Which is what? What exactly are you doing? You wrote a book no one's going to read. So you're in you're in wasting paper. So all my knowledge is that you're wasting glue and paper. What is the business you're in? You're on Mad Dog once a week.
You might as well be an arson because it's just wasting things away.
Yeah, you're just burning down forests.
Not yours. If you're in the profession that I'm in,
what are you?
You have to admit you're wrong.
You're a media guy.
In your profession, you never admit you're wrong.
You're not a media. I do all the time. You're not a media guy.
I am now. I write books now, but I admit I'm wrong.
Okay, so he's now distancing himself from the media that he's in and unsuccessful in.
So
he writes books that no one's going to read. Like I contend no one will read that book. And I'm not that's not hyperbole.
I had no idea. I had no idea I was getting into this either. This is the best part about it. I came over here.
Okay, I've heard this. All right, so he had no idea he was walking into this firestorm of Patriots talk. Like, what a pussy. Like, I had no idea I was walking into this. What? You're a football broadcaster, you dumbass. You're an analyst.
Well,
like, you didn't think you were going to analyze football, stupid?
Okay.
Your whole job is walking around washing Belichick's balls. You didn't think Felger was going to bring up Belichick? What exactly did you think was good? Again, if they sat down and they said, hey, Lombardi, and this is not true. I'm just bringing up something. Yeah. If they went, Lombardi, I saw in 1984 you got a DUI. And then you're like, oh, Jesus, dude.
Yeah,
or like your wife. Like, let's talk about your wife. Like, obviously, I didn't know you were going to talk about this. You said you hijacked me. But this, you didn't know you were going to sit down and talk about football, you stupid lump? What the hell did you think you were going to talk about?
Yeah, and I wonder if Mark Capello, who's out there, is kind of like a guest wrangler. I wonder if he's, said to Lombardi, hey, do you want to go on 98.5, the Sports Hub in Boston? And if he said, what's that? Be like, oh, we're the Patriots flagship. Scott Zolak's on that station and blah, blah, blah. Maybe he thought it was going to be more of a friendly.
Dude, he does Mad Dog. He does the Mad Dog show once a week.
I don't know.
I mean, Mad Dog's called Mad Dog. I'm a very mad person.
I had no idea I was getting into this either. This is the best part about it. I came over here. I don't know who.
By the way, he won't look at Felger during any of this. He's just sitting there playing with his plump little sausage fingers with those Super Bowl ring with those dumb Super Bowl rings on.
He's kind of staring forward and down. Yeah, and Felger's off to his right.
It's just you can judge him. He's got he's not. He's arrogant as a sign of weakness. Like it's this weak-minded troll boy that's everything he has is due to one guy, and he can't even defend him right. This is where I started getting angry.
Booked me for this, but I thought I was going to talk about football done right.
Capello.
Instead, I'm getting ridiculed here.
I've been waiting to hear from Bill.
He's not going to talk to you. Why would he spend 5 minutes talking to you?
I know that.
Why would he spend 5 minutes talking to you? You have no idea about anything, and he's going to lower himself to you.
No. What? Okay, so now he's going to lower himself as a human? Like we're not both existing on the same planet? That his successes as a head coach in any way make him like a far superior human being? This is the way you talk about a god, my friends. This is not a way that you talk about a fellow traveler of this this plane that we're on. My goodness gracious, you'd think he's talking about Jesus. You'd really think he's talking about Jesus. Do you think Jesus is going to come down from the heavens to talk to you, sinner? How dare you? He's an effing football coach. He puts together X's and O's. Go screw yourself. Belichick lower himself to talk to him. Oh, get out of here. Like, the way he phrases it is just so stupid. F you. Oh, see, now here's
It
where
gets worse.
I know what's coming. Yeah. I'm ramping up, baby. Let me loose.
Thinking he's going to lower himself to you.
No.
I got to talk to Felger because he was the almighty God.
F-E-L, Felger.
I got to talk to him because if I win him over, I can really do a good job.
Yeah, that's funny.
And Maz.
That's funny. Good for Maz.
Over. I could really do a good job, and maybe I'll get into Canton. He could give one rat's butt about what you think.
Thank you for not saying ass, you puss.
Doesn't care. He could care less about it. He won 6 Super Bowls. He's been in 9. You think he cares what you think? Do you think he has one idea or one remote idea about?
Yes, 100 times yes, you jackass. Then you don't know him at all, because that's a fact. Does he know what Felger said about him? He absolutely knows what Felger said about him. He gets handed 1,000. You don't think we talk to people, you stupid idiot? You don't think that Troy Brown was in this studio once a week, that Gerard Mayo was in this studio once a week? You don't think that we've talked to people, you pain in the ass? Felger used to hang out with Belichick in Nantucket, you moron. Lower himself. Belichick couldn't watch Felger's wife water ski long enough. Lower himself. Felger, why doesn't Felger just say I was friends with him? Like, I used to drink with the guy. I used to hang out at his house, you stupid idiot.
And it was something that I wrote that he read that soured our relationship.
Tell just real quick, encapsulate in 30 seconds.
I don't think this is privileged information. Felger wrote a piece that he was he was sourced by a player's agent. And he wrote an article about somebody that, maybe was getting some interest from other teams. And Belichick said something to the effect of, you idiot, he's using you to drive his price up. And now that screws up our negotiations, you dumb F. And after that, they were quits.
Yeah. So Felger knows Belichick plenty.
About what you think or what he does? No, of course not. He's moving on.
Well, at one point he did.
No, he didn't. He's never thought about it. Don't give yourself that much credit. He's never thought about you 1 minute.
That's not
true.
Has
never. You're not the girlfriend that he reminisces about. No, he has never thought about you 1 minute. How did I get in this thing? How do I get out of this thing?
I'm a baseball guy.
Get up and leave. Yeah, man, like I'm a baseball. That's right. I'm going to make it all right. Incubus, rah, rah, rah. All right, here we go. And we finish things up here. We will get past this interview, but I mean, this guy is a real clown.
When you enter this profession, as I have, you accept the fact.
Failed.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Now, when I lowered myself.
As a guest, as a podcaster, as what?
Yeah, you have a podcast. And so does, my daughter.
When I lowered myself to start my podcast.
Yeah, when I wrote this book that no one. In all the people that wrote books, I'm now the person that wrote a book, like a Gronking to remember. Other people that have promoted books at the Super Bowl, a Gronking to remember. Gary Tangways, I guarantee you more. How about this? I guarantee you more people read Gary Tangway's The Arm in the Fall book than Lombardi's dumb book that no one cares about.
When you enter this
Who published Lombardi's book? If you could find that, I would be much obliged.
Sure.
When you enter this profession, as I have, you accept the fact that people that are outside are going to say what they say. And you have to focus and concentrate on what matters most.
Which is?
The job at hand.
For me, before
it's the scoreboard.
The scoreboard. Yes.
All right.
Before today, I thought it mattered to win and lose, but now there's so many more things.
I'm going to look at your ratings every day. I'm going to look at your ratings every day.
Do you want to see the ones that came out yesterday?
I want to see if you take a dip and do all that.
Baby.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. And then when we do
scoreboard,
we go through it, and you and I are going to go to Dallas, and we'll walk through Dealey Plaza together, and you'll tell me why he was up there.
That was awesome. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Me too. I've been waiting to hear from Bill, and there it was.
You did not talk to Belichick, and you will never talk to Belichick. No. You just talked to Michael Lombardi. God. So let's be clear on that.
Because now Belichick's so much better than you. God, right. What a cuck. What do you call it when you get there's the
submissive?
He's like the real submissive guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, he'd never talk to you. You're talking to Michael Lombardi. He wouldn't talk to you. Like, you're so much worse than him. The weird relationship, right? Yeah. Like, do you have anyone in your life that you talk about like that?
No.
That
Never.
You like? That you,
God, no.
That you know? Like, that you're like, well, I would hope you talk about me like that. Like, when people go, like, what's Fred like? You're like, you don't even He'd never talk to you.
That's right. You're not worthy.
By the way, his book, Football Done Right, is published by Running Press.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a big publishing house. Let's be honest. That sounds like they're making them as they're ordered.
It was co-founded by Stuart Buzz Teacher and his brother Larry Teacher.
Yeah. The old Teacher brothers.
Yeah.
They weren't the kids in the other class.
You just talked to Michael Lombardi. So let's be clear on that. That's what I think. I'm not telling what Bill thinks because Bill's his own man.
Yeah, and you would do anything. You would drink his bathwater. You love him. That much is clear.
That was infuriating to me, too. It's like, he doesn't know. He doesn't care anything about you. You'll never talk to him. Like, they have spoken. Bill speaks to reporters still frequently. They act like he thinks of him as this, like, mythic, exalted figure. And if you're that close to him as you come across as being, then you would know this. You know that he speaks to people and that they're intimately aware of what's being said about the team and who's saying what and why certain guys get banned from Gillette Stadium, why other people are cut off at the teat and don't get information anymore. Because it's all very familiar to them and to Bill. And he's not some untouchable entity. He is one of the greatest football coaches of all time that has a losing record post Tom Brady, and someone has the audacity to say, "What happened?"
You know,
how dare you? How dare you ask?
What about the girl whose house he was on the Ring camera without his shirt on, looking around like all confused? That's what he should have said.
Yeah.
Would he lower himself to come to my house to bang someone in it? If he could come out without his shirt on and fluff around him with the Ring camera.
I know I can't talk to him. He'll never talk to me. So I have to ask you, why was he shirtless on that woman's doorstep?
Who was he out to dinner with in New Orleans? Could he lower himself?
Right.
Could he lower himself to take his shirt off and just dance on my front porch a little bit? Just as Jesus did.
Because I can't talk to you. I can't talk to him. It's you seem to know everything.
In Leviticus 3:18, it says, and Jesus one time walked out confused, shirtless, doth without frock.
I thought that was Ecclesiastes. Time to every purpose under heaven.
I get a little confused as it's been a while since I've had my verse a day.
Time to laugh,
calendar.
a time to cry, a time to love, a time to wander out shirtless and confused in the wee morning hours.
A time to wander around in the French
seaside town.
A time to wander around in the French Quarter with a blonde. I mean, there are times for everything.
I mean, do you think Jesus could have found his car right away if there were cars back then? I mean, did the Buddha sit on the mountain and then take off his shirt and look around for his how to get home? Because Buddha was from a family of means. This is the truth.
What happened? Oh, God. Oh,
like if he's so great, why did he teleport out of that chick's house? You would think if he's a god, at least he could find his keys.
Yeah.
Or know there's a ring cam.
Michael, did he walk on water across the bay there back to his car?
Exactly. Did he go start just running down the channel?
Did he need a boat?
Well, does this bimbo get the paper delivered? I just want to read Howie Carr.
Oh, my head. God, can you please snap your fingers? Thanks. It's like an Alka-Seltzer and a Tylenol all in one. There you have it. An hour of Michael Lombardi.
The hell are White Claws? I'm never drinking those again.
Oh, man, I got Goldflake in my shirt. Goldflake and glitter. It's Goldschlager and...
I drink any of the booze I'm asked to buy for some kids.
It's what I get for hanging in front of the 7-Eleven. What are you guys going to a party? You just don't have your ID, right? You just forgot it at home.
I was short on alcohol.
Truly, huh?
Short on alcohol. Let me turn this water into wine for you.
Truly awful. Oh, I got a truly horrible hangover. How dare you?
How dare you, sir? All right. Very good.
Oh, we've got a party going here.
Very good. Okay.
Who are they going to get today?
I don't know. It's gonna be exciting.
Good stuff. We don't have to be out there.
No,
They're great.
We
you
can
guys
just break
get
down
the
their
guests.
interviews.
We'll break it down. It's more fun.
Yeah, we've done it 2 days. All right. So we'll be right back.
BackstageCountry.com, your online home for all things country music. Country music has so many generous artists who always seem to jump in to help those in need. We're spotlighting 5 who lead by example and lend a helping hand to charitable causes. See who made our list when you text GIVE to 45911. Text GIVE to 45911 and read all about it right now on BackstageCountry.com.
In season.
One thing where the Celtics should have had the advantage.
Or off season.
You got Patriots news.
No station keeps you connected to Boston sports like we do.
Whatever, okay.
98.5, the Sports Hub. Toucher and Hardy, the reviews are in.
I got to stay on talk about you. Give me about 5 minutes of my time.
Hear what he said. Now more of on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, and this hour of our show is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. When James Stewart, he tweeted out that entire interview, if you want to hear it and watch it, with Mike Lombardi that Felger and Maz did yesterday. He said we're joined by @Mike Lombardi NFL, and it's either brilliant or just factual. He says we're joined by @M Lombardi NFL of the GM Shuffle podcast and the Daily Coach newsletter, and had an all-time debate about the Patriots. So his bona fides now are the GM Shuffle podcast. Not to get you excited, Wallach. It is not the Curly Shuffle.
Oh.
It is the GM Shuffle podcast. The Curly Shuffle is its more successful brother. And the Daily Coach newsletter. If you're pumping out a newsletter, Lord knows you've reached the top of your game and should be talking down to everyone. That my life now is doing guest spots on radio shows, not hosting one. I host a podcast and doing the GM Shuffle newsletter.
Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo!
And speaking of novelties, I could auction off this dog that Hardy made out of a balloon. Hardy, every time I give you guys content from ESPN,
you get a balloon animal.
Nice.
I thought about this before, and hopefully we'll have another golf tournament this year, the Sports Hub Who's Your Caddy. For years, as a fundraising effort, I've wanted Zoe to do caricatures of people, like set them up at an easel and have them do caricatures.
You think you can get Zolak to sit still for that long?
I think if he's doing something and he's actively, busy, then he could do it.
He's going to see a shiny object and leave the easel. No
problem. He's good. He is a talented artist. And he can do caricatures, and they're funny, and they're good. How much do you think people would pay for a Scott Zolak original caricature of themselves? Like you and a buddy, if you're a fan of the station, a fan of Zoe, what would you fork over for that?
Well, if you have a dead animal, he'll do it for free, as he did when my cat died, and he had it 6 feet underground with the ghost of the cat rising, and it was a very accurate. It looked lifelike. The caricature of the cat dead.
But the cat didn't die that first time. The cat actually survived that.
Whatever. It was close to death, and he did that. So he'd do that for free. But I think that that people would pay enough that it would be, kind of revolting. People would be, willing to, fork over enough cash where you would be like, oh, my God.
A few $100s and do that 5-10 times throughout the course of the golf tournament. That's a lot of money raised for the Floating Children's Hospital. But I'd be willing to throw in a balloon animal. Hey, take this with you. So
because I feel if you're watching on Twitch, twitch.tv, and look out for record numbers. This was made by Hardy's own hands. He blew up the balloon himself. He knew to leave a portion of the balloon blown up, so he could, at the end, make a tail, and then he said for me to just blow, and I went, in the air, just into the ether.
It's not my first sculpture, Fred.
And it came into a little bulbous thing at the end of the tail. The knot that he tied became the nose. I mean, this is a craftsman.
Yeah.
This is a man who did not spend his high school adolescence the way that most people did.
A lot more of that came from, Fred, if you play your cards right, and if you're willing to share stuff from your ESPN Insider account.
I also don't want to get sued by ESPN, though, or the Disney Corporation for sharing insider content.
Oh, yeah.
And why should I have to be the one who pays?
Did you ever do that with a boxing stream? I did that for the Mayweather McGregor fight. I watched it via someone else holding their phone up to the TV who paid for the fight.
I picked my son up during the Kansas City-Miami game. I picked him up from a friend's house, and I was in the car, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I was watching the game. I'm like, oh, they had Peacock? And he's like, no. And then he gave me this website, and the website has every game and every sporting event going on, regardless of where. And he was just like, yeah, you don't have this website?
My kid did the same thing to me.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean you're not watching a game? How are you watching it? You're in your room. How are you watching it? He's like, Dad, here.
And it's a website. It's not like you don't have to jump through any hoops or anything.
That's
It's
right.
like literally just a website, and it just gives you links to click, and you just click the link, and then you're watching the game. Like, it doesn't ask for, like, information or anything.
No.
It's just someone, I don't know why, they're probably stealing all your information, but have fun with it.
That's the thing. I said to my son, you realize they're tracking you, right? And it made him stop for like 5 seconds. And it's like, F you. Did.
Well, has your son one of your sons ever told you they've made money playing video games? Like, I finally got money, like, playing Fortnite. And you're like, well, how did you get money? Well, my friend handed it to me. Well, how did he get the money? Well, they put it in, they send you an email with the money in it. Well, that doesn't sound right.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, he's like, they send
Silly
you.
me.
This was my conversation in the car with him yesterday. He's like, yeah, my friend gave me $50. I go, where's the $50? And I don't want to sound like a dick. It's hard for me. But, like, I'm like, where's the $50? He's like, it's in my bag. I didn't ask to see it. I'm like, it's cash money. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, we won $100 playing Fortnite, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, how did he get the money? He's like, well, they sent him an email. I'm like, yeah, but an email doesn't give the money. He didn't give I'm like, he didn't give the people his banking information. He's like, banking information. I'm like, how did the money go from Fortnite? And he's like, well, it's the gaming company, whatever gaming company. It's the gaming company. And they're a huge company, Dad. I understand, but how did they get the money to him? Like, and I'm like, you understand you never give any of your personal information. He doesn't even know what a bank is, let alone his banking information. But I'm like, you understand. Like, I get stuff from Amazon, in quotations, that says there's been a problem, or something from the post office that says your delivery didn't come through.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever been at the post office where an old lady is, like, complaining about how her delivery didn't come through, and they're like, let me see the email?
No,
and they're like, this isn't from us? No. And then the old lady, and then you might as well just leave, because the old lady's going to be there, like, sunrise, sunset, sunset. Like, the old lady's going to be there for a while. But it's called phishing, and then so if you want to scam kids, look no further than video games. They'll believe anything.
Couple of music stories here, Fred. This is going to be very exciting for you. This was just announced. A band coming to TD Garden August 31st. Very impressed that they are playing the Garden to perform their iconic album Morning View in its entirety, plus the hits. Talking about Incubus.
They're playing where?
TD Garden with special guests Coheed and Cambria. The pre-sale tickets start tomorrow. Yes, 10 a.m. with the code STELLAR. You are stellar.
I don't even know that song.
Yes, you do. You are stellar.
You sound like exactly like them.
Thank you. So
the TD Garden Incubus is playing.
Performing the album Morning View in its entirety.
Which one's
plus
Morning
the
View?
Hits.
It's not the first album with the hits. So they have to perform a album, but then add on, by the way, there's some hits.
Well, because
what was on Morning View?
The show would only be 45 minutes long if you just did.
Well, he could babble his poetry. By the way, he was on Reservoir Dogs, which was a great show that I respect. And he played Jesus, a bum who thought he was Jesus. I got very upset at the people from Reservoir Dogs for liking Brandon Boyd.
Oh, the track listing for Morning View, Nice to Know You, Goodbye.
What's Nice to Know? Oh, yeah, I know that song. Okay.
The song Circles.
How did Circles go? I just want to hear you sing.
There are lots of circles, and they're all round. And if we... I don't know this.
So it was teaching you about shapes? They were going
My
after they
favorite
might be
is
giants.
the spherical ones.
That's right. Wish You Were Here. You know that
Yeah,
song.
I know, of course.
Dig My Toes into the Sand.
Wish You Were Here is fantastic because I told you when they're doing Conan O'Brien, it's Brandon Boyd earnestly like holding the mic stand and like closing his eyes, and right over his shoulder, the only member of the band you can see is the DJ. And you're just like, when did the label tell you to get the DJ? Because he wasn't in the band. And what band inspired you to get the DJ? Was it the Biscuit?
Run DMC.
Yeah, exactly.
The song Warning, which was a mild hit.
Okay.
I remember Incubus Warning. And then what else is on there? Echo, Have You Ever? Are You In? Was the other.
These are all. See, this isn't even a bad song. And it would be great until, listen. So you're like, all right, this is cool.
It's got a groove to it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this at all. I'm not going to pretend there is. So you're like, this is a pretty good band. What's going on here? And then you go. Why?
The sky looks like a backlit canopy. Across a blue blanket.
It looks like, so the moonlight coming off the things looks like a million diamonds. This man is a poet among us. And he wishes that he was there with some broad.
There's a lot of broads who wish they were there with Brandon Boyd. He is a dreamboat.
I know. You would think that he would have a little less self-reverence.
Also, Colts owner Jim Irsay appears to be doing better.
Yeah, Incubus, man. All right.
Not a lot going on in terms of news from the Colts owner.
I'm cool, man. Getty came by and said, what's up?
Well, the Colts, January 9th, released a statement saying he was undergoing treatment for severe respiratory illness.
You know why we're the Colts, man? Molly Hatchet's first album. He's riding Steed.
This was a month after authorities found him unresponsive in his home. That was December 8th.
Man.
Authorities...
Don't listen to him. Listen to Lombardi. What happened? Davey Gilmore, man. I bought his guitar. I bought a sheet of acid that the original singer took and freaked out.
Hey, Quentin, what's up, man?
That's right.
If I could remember his name, it'd be a better reference.
But now he is...
Sid?
He has not been heard or seen publicly since December. It has now been almost 2 months since this incident.
I've been laying low, man.
All they keep telling me and all they've told me is how damn good you are.
Sid Barrett is who I was looking for.
Very good. 64 years old. A lot of health.
64 years young, man.
A lot of health challenges. But,
yeah.
Apparently, the team.
Will you still love me when I'm 64? If I come to your town and give you a free museum if you watch me play. Hey, man, you want to see Keith Moon's left ball?
Really have that?
Yeah, in a jar. But you got to watch me play. Come out. Come on. I got a testicle in a jar.
What were the size of the checks he had to write? He had legitimate people up there and touring with him, like Mike Mills from REM.
Mike Mills just loves sports.
Apparently.
No, he does. Like, he's like, in Atlanta, he was super into sports.
Well, I love sports, too, but I'm not going to go hang and, talk about lowering yourself. I'm going to sound like Mike Lombardi here. But don't you think that's kind of lowering yourself to be Mike Mills and get up there and play bass for Jim Irsay's band?
He has the bona fides that you cannot take away. He has the bona fides. He has been in the trenches, my friend. And once you have, you can just enjoy your golden years as far as I'm concerned. But some of us aren't cynics. No. Mike Gorman will join us, a good friend of ours. Mike Gorman will join us and talk all about his journey and the Celtics and everything else. And if the sky at night looks like a backlit canopy with holes punched in it, and if that indeed isn't just literal and not poetry at all, it's just literally what it would look like. That doesn't seem to have many deep meanings at all. It's just I looked at the sky and this is what it would look like to me. That's not poetry, kids. All right, we'll be right back.